All right. I'm looking to talk to the people. If you've tuned in expecting me to go nuts, I can't. This Pistons team, it's hysterical in a morbid way. I mean, it's just like...
Man, I hand-selected chairs for you to throw.
I know, buddy. I don't have it. I don't have it because I don't have a handle on what's going on. As I said to you yesterday, I am not in the business of just being unfair. I can't make fun of Fontenecchio or Grimes. They don't deserve that. They're nobodies. It is, what is Troy Weaver's plan, if there is one at all? And trading Bogdanovich and Burks in the same deal and netting Grimes and 2 second round, that's just awful. And please don't straw man argument me with, well, the Knicks weren't offering a want. Your job as a general manager is to create a market or to better the market that exists. Over the last 18 months, I've wanted Bogey traded. So now it's just Jeremy Grant Part 2, where you didn't get maximum value. You know who got better in that trade? The Knicks. Mm-hmm. I'd argue you traded Burks and Bogdanovich for 2 guys who will never play in a playoff game while they're here. And 2 picks that you'll never know the name of. How did we get better today? Now, we have 40 minutes. I will tell you this. Rico asked a question, credit to him. Can the Pistons get your interest back in any way, shape, or form? Here's the only way I'd be interested. They have to have one of those big mafioso meetings and go, raise your hand if you want to build around Cade, raise your hand if you want to build around Ivy. You only get one. Mm-hmm. And I'm trading the other guy. Pick your point guard and build a team around them. Last night, case in point. All right, no Cade. Ivy gets to be ball dominant. 37, closes him out. He looks like a different player, right?
Yeah.
And Cade, I think Cade's an excellent player, but he can't play with Ivy. So we tried it. It hasn't worked. You want my interest? You got to shake up this core, and you've got to show me a plan.
Because in that scenario, I would be the one saying, I want to keep Ivy. You got to let Cade go. Because I think Cade is more marketable.
I'm
Cade
not
can
arguing.
actually get you something.
I am not going to knock anybody's opinion. Rico, you have every right to feel that way. I don't even want to go down the road. I'm telling you, asked me the question. Yeah. What could they do to get your attention? That. Because at least it would be a line in the sand organizationally. This is who we're building around.
See, I don't even think getting the number 1 pick in this upcoming draft would mean anything because people would look at players and say, I have no idea. It's kind of like looking at this team right now. I have no idea what I'm looking at. Is this guy good? I don't know.
Is it weak to say that in order to get me back, I have to know what the plan is? Because here's the thing. And people are saying, well, you all wanted Bogey to be traded. You all wanted Morris to be traded.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but not for nothing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And because you don't have a plan, it looks like, oh, my gosh. So,
doesn't it feel like Troy Weaver is the mark? It's like sitting down at a poker game and you know the guy who's all pilled out of his mind and hammered, and you go, well, he's losing his money tonight. Mm-hmm. Like, that's Troy Weaver. Not in the pilled out drunk format. I mean, just as the mark, the guy everyone knows they can get over on. It's very Avila-esque to me.
And that's where that's what was leaning in that direction.
Because I always say, to me, it's always like that one guy, if you play fantasy football that you knew, yeah, I can work a trade with this guy.
Well, that's the thing, because I don't trust, while they need to have a plan, I don't trust Weaver to be the one to implement the plan and do
David,
it right.
I think you can see what his plan is from a mile away. It'll be this summer attempting to get Tobias Harris at a max deal at 32 years old. Is that going to get your attention? Of course not. You know, Miles Bridges' agent, Rich Paul, they were going to veto any deal today. He's going to get to be an unrestricted free agent. Now, obviously, Charlotte has his bird rights. But let's say the offseason was Tobias Harris and Miles Bridges. What does that make you, a 30-win team? Is that, like, think about the grand scheme here, guys. 30 and 52? Here, I'll tell you what I'll do for you. I'll give you 35 wins because I'm just feeling so effing generous. Here's 35 and 47. What does that do? We are on a road to nothing.
Maybe put you in the play-in game.
And it would have to be an extremely down year. Let's get to the people. Let's see what they have to say. And if you can identify a plan happening, I would love to hear from you. Let's go to Jeff to lead off today. Jeff, how you doing, brother?
Oh, pretty good. How are you guys?
I'm okay.
Now, I was baffled by how we got 3 people over the limit, and there's not 5 guys that can play basketball. And I really think they should go into drug testing because there is no logic behind what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean it is very difficult, Jeff, to figure out exactly what are they doing, how excited should I be, because there's nothing about this that screams excitement. There's nothing about this that makes me feel like Troy Weaver and the Pistons are on the right path to getting back to a playoff team.
And that recent question, how could we get interested back in the Pistons this year? I think they should just allow them to go full globetrotter, make crazy passes and bounce shots, and that's about the only way you're going to get me to watch it the rest of the year.
All right.
Wow. Yeah, that not optimal. Let's just go over to Larry, 97.1. Larry, what's going on, buddy?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Hey, Larry.
I heard before where you were saying it's the moves of a madman. It's not moves of a madman. He has the brain of a kid that's eating crayons in the corner. It doesn't make sense, any of the moves. You're not getting anything back, and if you are, it's like you said, for something in 2030. Who's even going to care by that point? Because nobody cares right now.
Exactly. Look, that's the thing, and this is where, again, Larry, if you had an owner who was engaged, if you had an owner that was remotely knowledgeable about running a sports team, or if you had good people in the organization to guide him, none of which that you have, the owner would recognize this is a failed state and we have to restart. This is a rebuild of a rebuild. I mean, think about Troy Weaver. All he's done basically is attempt to fix one of the most egregious summers we've ever seen. You played the role of horse fluffer to the Nets, and you took Joe Harris while they went to the mating barn and got Cam Johnson. You paid Marvin Bagley and then had to bribe a team to take him because it was a mistake by you. You have waived the first draft pick you've ever had. You got nothing for Sadiq Bey unless you consider the dead body of James Wiseman something. And you have Beef Stew, who might get dealt in the next 30 minutes. You have pieces that don't fit. You just took the 2 best shooters you have and the 2 best vets you have that combined are about 35 points a game. And the return on those is maybe a backup guard in Grimes and 2 seconds. One problem. Everything I listed beforehand vaporizes those second-round picks. Out of all of this, I think you netted 1 pick. So 1 pick, Fontenecchio and Grimes, and you've just released every other player headed your way.
Sounds about right.
Now you want this man in this city to hit free agency and have a landmark offseason. One problem. Look at the free agent list. DeMar DeRozan, old, can't shoot it. Not from deep, he can't. Klay Thompson, yeah, right. Pascal Siakam, yeah, right. Who? Tobias Harris at age 32? Miles Bridges and all of his court dates? Is that what we're doing? Guys, help me. Help me. Because I'm one step, this is essentially what would happen if David was explaining the Bible to me. Help me. I cannot fathom we're in this spot. It's a failed state. You cannot allow somebody who has burnt their own house down twice to be allowed in the kitchen anymore. But that's what a real owner would do. Troy Weaver wouldn't be here, and we'd begin executing someone else's plan. I think all today tells me is Troy Weaver's here for the long haul.
Yeah, that's it right there. Because he's making these deals.
It's astonishing, isn't it?
Troy, I trust you, and help us out here. Let us know what you're doing.
Your call's next. 248-539-9797.